This is the Marketing Minute with Eric Rhoads, author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, Make More Money Selling Your Art, Proven Techniques to Turn Your Passion into Profit.
In the Marketing Minute, I try to answer your marketing questions, which you can email me anytime, eric@plenairmagazine.com. This comes from Esther Luca of Ronda, Spain. Cool. She says, I think it's harder for artists to make a living in Europe than it is in America. Can you tell me how I can make my paintings sell in America? I don't have a clue. I don't know if it's harder. I think sometimes the grass is always greener, right? We think it's not as good in our area, but it may just be the way you're doing things. Maybe your marketing, maybe the way you're putting yourself out there. I don't know if it's true or not, but it probably is to some extent anyway. People who love paintings, people who buy paintings, they're the same everywhere, I would think. So you may just have to do some marketing different. I mean, I think that, sometimes the economy ebbs and flows. So like if you're in an area with a bad economy, maybe they're not buying paintings, but you maybe got to market in an area with a good economy. That's why in America, I always talk about if you're in a couple galleries, make sure you're in one gallery where the economy is really strong or where tourism's really strong. Esther, you can take advantage of the mystique. Being from Spain seems exotic to those of us here in America. And I would think that galleries love the idea of saying this person's from France or Spain or something. So you might want to start thinking about marketing in America, talk to some galleries and so on so they can market you. But remember, the world is small today. You can get your work out there on Instagram and Facebook and other things, and nobody has to know where you're from. I'm going to be teaching Instagram marketing one morning at the Plein Air Convention. And the key to Instagram marketing, and there's many, but there's an 80-20 rule, 80% content, 20% asking or selling. And so don't overdo it. And so you just want to kind of build your reputation there. But, you can't really control who's there. You don't know if they're collectors or followers or just other artists. Not just other artists, but other artists. So just be keeping that in mind. If you want to get into an environment where you're pretty much guaranteed to sell, then you want to be in an environment where people are there to buy. For instance, a magazine like mine, Fine Art Connoisseur or Plein Air, people are there to buy. People track artists. They watch them over time, and they eventually will, if they like them, they'll eventually buy something. The key to all marketing, though, the principles are always the same. You've got to find a platform where the money is hiding, right? I always say stand in the river where the money is flowing. Something that collectors or known art buyers are going to spend time with, which tends to be, like art shows, art gallery openings, art magazines, art websites, but more focused on art buyers, things that focus on art buyers and art collectors. So I also like to go where the big money is, because big money is not as sensitive if the economy crashes, and the economy always crashes at some point. So big money might not spend $500,000 on a painting. They might only spend $50,000 on a painting. But small money, they just stop buying. And so I like to be where big money is. And that's why Fine Art Connoisseur is like, we've got like 300 billionaires that read it. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, you want to be seen frequently. People believe that advertising is content. In other words, they see your ads of your paintings, they feel like it's content. That's not true in all magazine advertising, but it's very true in an art magazine. And concentrate on dominating a single audience, right? So like if you spread yourself too thin, you say, I'll do a little here and a little there and a little over there, then you're not getting enough frequency typically unless you can really afford it. So get where you can get a lot of frequency, where you can be there all year, every issue, multiple times over, 3, 4, 5 years. That's how you build a reputation. It takes time and commitment. I have artists that I helped start marketing 5 years ago who are household brands today at least in the art communities, that nobody ever heard of 5 years ago. It's because they're just out there and they're consistent. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not easy, but I hope this helps anyway. Next question comes from Julian C. of Atlanta, Georgia. Eric, he says, I love listening to you when I paint. I was sitting here wondering the other day, how I can do this full time. I work as a manager at a tire store and my back hurts. Yeah, I get it. I can't keep doing this. My goal is to be a full-time artist in 5 years, but I don't know where to start. And I'm in my mid-40s, so I can't retire anytime soon, and I'll be giving up what retirement income I have. What would you do? You know, Julian, follow what you love. If you follow what you love, you're always going to find a way. It isn't always easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. You know, there's a TV host by the name of Steve Harvey. I saw a video of him the other day, and somebody asked him kind of the question, how do you succeed? And he says, you have to jump. You have to take a leap of faith. You have to jump off. He said, you're going to see others who have had success. You'll see people with nice cars and big houses and big money, and maybe those things are important to you. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's just about making a living. But he said, when you see that, don't get discouraged when it's not you. Your time will come. You know, they may have, you don't know what they've gone through to get there. He says their parachute opened. They jumped, their parachute opened. He said, you jump, you might fall and fall and fall and have a lot of mishaps and hit some rocks and bump your head, but you're going to eventually make it. But if you don't jump, you'll never make it. You're never going to get your parachute open if you don't jump. So I thought that was pretty good advice. And so I think, you know, the whole idea is, I like to make plans. I don't just jump. I mean, sometimes I take risks, but I don't just jump. I think you need to be a student of marketing. I would study marketing like crazy for a year. Just study it, buy everything you can, read everything you can, study. Start trying it. Marketing makes the difference. There are painters that have never been heard of that are brilliant, that'll never be seen or heard of because they don't do any marketing. There are great painters in the world from the past. You know, Monet was a great marketer. He was a brilliant marketer. So, and look how famous he is now. He's dead, but he's famous. Anyway, build yourself what I call a 4 or 5 year plan. Start working the plan, edge into it. The goal is to start selling while you still have your job. Start selling, get good at it, ramp it up so that by the time you're ready to quit your job, the time you're ready to quit your job, I think, is when you've replaced your income. So now you're making double the income, right? Because you've got your painting income and you've got your job income. When you've got double the income, now you can start putting a little money away so that you have money for a rainy day, because it's nice to have 6 months or a year, if you possibly can, put away. And then, you know, once you've got some money put away, then I think it's okay to pull the plug. And maybe a friend of mine did this. He went from a full-time job and he went to a part-time with the same company. And then he went to a consulting, reducing his time a little bit year after year. And then eventually he went out full-time doing art, and he was teaching and workshops and, you know, whatever it was to bring in money. And so that's kind of the way you do it. You edge into it. So anyway, I hope that helps. Of course, you got to get good at being a painter too. So you want to be doing workshops, you want to be studying videos, you want to do anything you can to make sure that you're constantly improving your work, because you're out there among others who are doing the same thing. You got to compete. So hope that's been a good answer for you. Thank you. I appreciate the question.
This has been the Marketing Minute with Eric Rhoads. You can learn more at artmarketing.com.